Project Veritas has been banned from Twitter. I think we all saw this coming. Perhaps you've heard of Project Veritas. It is probably one of the last real journalist groups left out there. And them getting banned is somehow, it's like the final nail in the coffin for real journalism these days. Because you see, journalism used to be about going undercover, discovering people breaking the law, being corrupt, and exposing people who are lying to us. Now, pretty much journalists just read tweets online, and then they call that news. Here we are on CNN. Business. Twitter permanently bans the Project Veritas account. Now, there's a lot to break down here in this story. There's been some scummy behavior, I believe, by CNN, who basically got Project Veritas permanently banned from Twitter after they contacted Twitter and whined. Because originally, Project Veritas had released a video where they are in front of a Facebook executive's house on the public sidewalk, mind you. And when he comes out, they ask him, why are you censoring people? How do you feel about this? Well, Twitter said he was endangering this Facebook executive's privacy. Never mind the fact that CNN has done this before in the past. They've been on the public sidewalk and waited for people to come outside their homes. Almost all the media has done this. But no, when Project Veritas does it, they got mad, they whined to Twitter, and they got them banned. Originally, Project Veritas had the ability to simply delete the video and have their account restored, but after CNN contacted them, that was removed. Now we're going to go through this story, we're going to break it down. Before we do, a quick word from today's sponsor. In this day of massive censorship, it's hard to know where to find reliable news sources. Introducing LotusEaters.com. Now on this website, you're going to find a lot of news articles going over the news. They do analysis, interviews, and they also have a podcast. Now, I personally tune into the podcast. It's pretty good. They cover a lot of daily events, news, and if you like podcasts, this is definitely one to check out. Now, the Lotus Eaters was created by Carl Benjamin. Perhaps you've heard of him. Internet celebrity, meme lord. So if you're a fan, you should check it out. And the website offers premium content that you can only find on the LotusEaters.com. You can find all that here and more. LotusEaters.com. Sign up today. And back to the story. So, a lot of different news outlets are reporting on Project Veritas being deleted, and I just love the framing. That's sarcasm. I absolutely despise the framing and think that these media outlets are dirty snakes. Here on Politico, for example, you can see technology. Twitter suspends Project Veritas account. The move against the conservative activist organization comes amid a broader crackdown by the social media giant on promoting misinformation. You see what they do there, folks? This is called framing, and it is one of the most aggravating things about modern media. They always gotta do this, right? The story is not about misinformation. Project Veritas is a legitimate news and, journalist organization, really. And everything they say and post is factual because they use footage. And you can see what people are saying in that footage. They've exposed a lot of companies, a lot of people with their own words. Why would they add a tagline saying that, Twitter is getting rid of misinformation? They make the implication that Project Veritas was taken down for misinformation. This is simply not true. It is simply not true. And yet that is the framing they use to try to lie to people because they're dirty mainstream media, and this is what they do. Disgusting behavior. The Facebook executive in question is Vice President Guy Rosen. Yeah. So what we're seeing here is big tech protecting big tech. I think the real reason that they're taking down Project Veritas isn't because they actually did anything illegal or wrong, because his privacy was not violated. They do not post an address or anything like this, which the left often does. CNN once doxed a teenager for posting a meme, and they basically threatened him saying, you better not post anything like this ever again, or we're gonna dox you. Yeah. CNN has literally acted like gangsters, and they have the gall to whine to Twitter to get Project Veritas permanently banned from the platform? See, these journalists are disgusting, despicable human beings. The truth is, my channel should be monetized. I should have monetization. I follow all the rules. And for more than a year, I was monetized. Some videos got yellow $, but most of my videos, once reviewed, were approved. My monetization has been in review for I don't know how long now. it should be monetized. This channel is perfectly acceptable. But this is what happens. You see, these mainstream journalists, they whine, and they whine and they whine to big tech until they get you and your living destroyed. So this is nothing more than a war on Project Veritas for daring to do real journalism. You know, and these articles are such garbage. Absolutely garbage. I mean, look at this paragraph. It is absolutely insanity. The Project Veritas, okay, this is by Politico. The Project Veritas account had been followed by former President Donald Trump's adult sons, and the suspensions come amid a broader Twitter crackdown on accounts promoting misinformation. Last month, following the Capitol insurrection, the social media platform announced that it had removed more than 70,000 accounts that promoted QAnon ideas, along with banning Trump. I mean, what a paragraph. You see what they're doing. This has nothing to do with President Donald Trump, former president, whatever, his sons. It has nothing to do with the misinformation. It has nothing to do with a so-called insurrection. That's such a stupid term. It was not an insurrection. It was a protest. And according to CNN's logic, was mostly peaceful. So don't give me that garbage. The social media platform announced, it removed QAnon, which literally nobody had really taken seriously until now. Like, it was an overnight boogeyman. And I called QAnon a cult the moment that I basically saw it come into being. Essentially, it's just a Nostradamus online predictions of future events. Yeah, apparently there's a QAnon insider. Nothing they said was actually true. Sometimes coincidentally, maybe, but that's just my opinion. I personally do not think that it's legitimate, and you take that how you will. But none of this has anything to do with the story, and, I mean, here you can see on The Verge, for example, Twitter permanently suspends conservative activist group Project Veritas. My problem with this, a lot of these news outlets are calling Project Veritas conservative. Here on CNN, for example, they say, Project Veritas, a conservative group founded by controversial activist James O'Keefe. Project Veritas is not conservative. They are simply real journalists. This is what pisses me off. These people are absolute scumbags. Now, the good news is James O'Keefe was able to restore his personal account, which had not been banned, so Project Veritas still has a voice on Twitter. But we're in a very, very dangerous precedent right now, because big tech media has proven that it can and will control information, control what you're allowed to see, what you're allowed to think, what you're allowed to feel. Because if you don't follow their arbitrary rules, you're going to get banned. They're going to destroy your living. Maybe they'll do much worse. You can see a bunch of tweets here about Project Veritas, and it's just absolutely nightmarish. 1984, Gestapo, online thought police. Lauren Boebert says, this week, Twitter said President Trump is banned for life, even if he runs for office again. Yesterday, they permanently banned Project Veritas. Yet they say that the Lincoln Project's John Weaver violated no terms of service when he solicited young men by sliding into their DMs. Oh, yes. You see, the Lincoln Project is a conservacuck right-wing group that bashes Donald Trump. They put out a lot of these ridiculous ads, like anti-Trump ads, that were kind of hilarious because they're so ridiculous. Like in one of them, there's a little kid crying to his mom, and he's like, who won the presidency? And the mom's like, Donald Trump. And the kid says, but I thought a president could only run for office 2 times. And the mom's like, not anymore. And then it's like, Donald Trump wins for a 3rd term. Oh my God. It's comical. But more importantly, John Weaver, who co-founded the Lincoln Project, was recently exposed for, soliciting minors, teenage boys, for lewd activities. Twitter says he violated no terms of service. Oh, I didn't know that Twitter was pro. The kind of guy that Chris Hansen would say, why don't you have a seat there, buddy? But this is pretty much the story, folks. The Babylon Bee puts out the following headline, kind of funny. Project Veritas shunned by journalists for practicing journalism. You know, this is a satire website, but they could not have said it any better. It goes without saying that we've reached nightmare mode. It's only going to get worse. I believe we're all going to be purged from the internet. So you know what? Follow me on BitChute. You can support the channel on Patreon, Subscribestar. Simply sharing the video goes a long way. And I say this because it's not going to be long now before we're all purged. You need to know where to find this kind of content. BitChute, I have a channel. All those links are in the description. Join me there. Folks, This has been Mr. Obvious, and that's merely the obvious.